Bonjour, hello, it has been a long time, but he is back. It is me, you see, the ROG. And what we're talking about today is very interesting. Mr. Richard D. Hall, interesting character, recently taken to court and found guilty about something to do with the Manchester bombings, but not, rather intriguingly, was he taken to court because of his evidence. He was taken to court for a different reason, which was rather intriguing. And he was found guilty and he was fined, and it was all over the mainstream media. Now, intriguingly, the Rog does happen to actually know of this person. I visited his website quite a lot over the years, and some very interesting information there, and some very interesting interviews with people with all sorts of fantastic evidence and all sorts of la-di-da-di-da. So I was quite intrigued as to why it was he was taken to court for what he said he had been given, exposed to, and learnt from witnesses, footage, etc., to do with that incident. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, because lots and lots of people around the world are making videos about things like the Twin Towers terrorist attack, or as the people who make money from it like to call it, 9/11, which is meaningless because what year was it? Why is the year not important? This was such an incredible event. Why don't they use the year? Because 9/11 is the media tagline. They literally sold merchandise with that on. They set up charities to make money using that brand name. It's a business brand name. So people who make money from that use that brand name. So I was thinking, yet none of them have been taken to court, which is intriguing, making these videos and things like that, which is effectively freedom of speech. So that's nice. Unlike, of course, when we had this scam come along, which we all know is definitely. And what happened to places like YouTube were blocking anybody from saying anything that was against the official story, which is quite intriguing. So why did Mr. Richard D. Hall really get taken to court? What was the catalyst? And this is my theory. When he did the videos about the Manchester bombings, showing the evidence he'd been given, and discussing with experts about various aspects of the official footage, and etc., nothing happened. Nothing happened. But the moment that he wrote a book about it and charged money, that's when he got taken to court. And he still wasn't taken to court to prove that what he said was true, that he said that it was all staged. That wasn't it. It was something along the lines of, oh, well, some of the victims took umbrage about this and they're upset, so they're suing you for their distress. Well, that's a bit weird, isn't it? When we look at what happened to Alex Jones, and a huge number of families took him to court to say, no, that event was real and we really suffered from it. Prove it. And he didn't. Didn't happen to Richard. All Richard was, we've hurt our feelings of just two people. According to the mainstream media, just two people. And of all the people in that arena, when that bomb did or didn't go off, only two were offended by what Mr. Richard Hall had discovered, or had been told. Whether it was true or false is irrelevant. Only two people. That itself is suspicious. And it was only when he started to charge money for his knowledge that he got sued. And I think that's where he went wrong. Because think of all the videos there are about people espousing all sorts of crazy theories or facts that are either for or against an official story. They're not taken to court. But the moment you put it in writing and you start charging money for it, I think that was bad anyway, because he's effectively profiting from people's suffering directly. All the people who wrote those books about the Twin Towers terrorist attack, was it 2011, was it? They made loads of money from that. And I think the reason that they never got taken to court was because, unfortunately, a large majority of the evidence of what actually did happen completely contradicts the official story. And there are so many top-level experts who would say under oath, no, that didn't happen. That's all fabricated. This is what would happen in that situation. That clearly didn't happen, so that couldn't be true. But Mr. Richard Hall, unfortunately, and it wasn't that long after the event had occurred, started to charge money for a book, and I think that was a bad idea. What he should have done is not charge. If he hadn't charged for it, if he hadn't been seen to be profiting from people's suffering, they wouldn't have had him. But it was interesting, he was only fined £40,000. Why such a low number? If this is such a major disaster, such a major affront to these people suffering, these people who have blown to bits or whatever happened to them, why only 40,000? That's laughably low. And I think it's because it's to teach him a lesson. We can't stop you from discovering what may or may not have actually happened and sharing it. But we will punish you if you try to make money from it. Especially when it's such a small, self-contained event like that, where there weren't that many people compared to the Twin Towers alleged terrorist attack, where there were tens of thousands of people witnessed and were directly involved in the actual the physical destruction and all that jazz. Like the fireman in the stairwell, who said they could hear explosions above them before the first plane hit, etc., etc. So I mean, there's too many witnesses to can't give, but because it was such a small little arena and they could control it, that's why it got done, I think. But what's interesting is, what I would say is, rather than just obey, comply, and conform to mainstream media, go on his website, type in Richard D. Hall in the web browser, go on his website and watch the video for yourself, and watch the other videos he does where he interviews photographic experts and video experts about what they say, and then make your own opinion, because it's just a projection after all, just like television. And that's what we need to remember. This is not reality, it's the internet.